Hi, welcome to the ninth in a series of user guides for Dronedesk. This guide covers creating jobs. So let's dive straight in. Let's just click straight onto new job. Okay, so the job reference needs to be meaningful and unique for your business in the system. Again, you can set it active or archived. The job progress can be one of 11 states. So new is obviously for new jobs. Scoped would be where you've accepted the job inquiry and you've done an initial desk-based survey. Quote sent, fairly obviously, is when you've created a quote and sent it to your client. Quote accepted, when they've accepted the quote. There may be some crossover with the next one, which is deposit received. Hopefully they pay your deposit as soon as they accept the quote. Planned would be when you've done a much more detailed desk survey for the job and or a site survey. And then work complete would be where you've been out and physically done the work required for the job. Clearly, next step is send the invoice, and then hopefully very quickly you'll get payment received and mark the job as complete. If at any point in the process the job is abandoned, the customer pulls out, or you decide the job isn't safe to do, or whatever, then you can mark the job as job aborted. So all jobs will begin as new. All jobs will end up as either job complete or job aborted. The order in which you mark the jobs in any of these statuses is entirely up to you. If it fits with your process to do them in different order, that's fine. You can do that. It's not prescriptive in any way. Okay, so we'll leave that as new. We can set the next action date. This always defaults as 7 days time, but again, you can change the date if you need to. And then to create a job, we need 4 primary bits of information. One is the client, who we're doing the work for, the location, where we're going to do that work, which isn't necessarily the client's location, a pilot, and a primary drone. I mean, obviously you may use more than one drone and you may potentially use more than one pilot, but for the purposes of creating the job record, that you need to specify one of each. So let's pick a client and the location that we created earlier. Let's give this job for Chris and pick one of the drones. Okay, so what if you get here and you suddenly realize that your brand new drone that you bought this morning isn't listed and you want to use it for this job? Okay, so you'll notice there's an icon bottom right of these 4 fields. So you can add a new client, a new location, a new pilot, or a new drone. So let me show you what happens when you click create new drone. It takes you to the new drone page and you can create a new record. Just do it in capitals so that it's obvious when we get to the other page. And let's say we bought that today. DJI, feeling flush. Okay, so that's a new drone record created. Save drone. And once I close that, it should now take me back to the job creation page. Fortunately, at the moment, the system doesn't recall anything that you've already entered in here. So apologies, but you'll have to just run through and reselect. But now you'll see the new record that we've just added. And then job type. There's a long list of job types in various categories. So we've got mapping, survey, photo, video, photo, and so on. Each one of the categories has an other option. So if what you're doing isn't in here, then you can always select the other option. There are also 3 special classes at the top, which are training, currency, and testing, which you can use for pilot training, currency, where you're keeping your hours up for your PFCO, or testing, where you're testing a new bit of kit, for example. So for the purposes of using those job categories, it's going to be sensible if you create a client record for your own business so that you can create a job against your own business for the purposes of using those top 3 job types. Okay, let's, for the moment, say we're going to do a real estate job. You can enter a job description. It would make sense to do so here. This is separate to the notes, so this will appear on the quote and invoice. So it's helpful if you mention here what you're going to be doing. Okay, so let's save that new job. Now you can see that job's there. Okay, so there's our single job. If you expand the window, you'll see the description and any notes that you might have entered. The progress is showing as new, and the date is not due yet. So that's color blue too. In the drop-down menu, we've got the usual view, edit, archive, and delete, but we've also got manage job. So I'll cover manage job in the next video. That's where you'll be planning the job. It's where you'll be able to view NOTAMs, for the location, the weather forecast for the location. It's also where you'll be able to create quotes and invoices for this particular job. So I'll cover that in much more detail in future videos. Okay, so let's say I want to do some testing of a new piece of kits. I just mentioned that it's helpful if you set up a client that is yourself so that you can create a job against yourself. So let's just quickly do that. Client, new client, say it's in-house work, client industry, let's say other for everything, just to keep it simple and so that we don't confuse things. Save client. Okay, so we've now got an in-house client that we can use for any job. I should mention here that because we've got archived client records, you'll notice in the job creation form, they didn't appear as an option. Okay, so anything that's archived, be that client location, team member, asset, whatever, if it's archived, it won't appear as an option to assign to a job. Let's jump back to the job screen and we'll create a job for in-house work. We would select as the client for this location. Again, it's probably useful if you've got specific locations that you use for testing or training or whatever, it's probably useful to build those in, or it's actually essential for you to build those in so that you can create a job for that location and plan correctly for it. So we've got 4 hours testing scheduled tomorrow. Select that as testing. And let's mention what we're going to test. And save job. Okay, so we've got 2 jobs live. I should mention at this point, you might have noticed there's an icon here which says switch to Kanban view. So this is an alternative way to view the jobs in the system. It's much more visual and probably helpful to track jobs if you've got a large number of jobs in hand. So it includes a card for each of the progress statuses, stati? Who knows? And there'll be a card for every job that you've got in the system at the moment. So you can see immediately that we've got 2 jobs in the status of new. Okay, so for example, if we take our testing parachute job, we know that the location it's going to be flying at, that the planning's already been done. We can move that just by clicking on it and dragging into the planned window. And then tomorrow when we finish the work, then it'll just be a question of moving it into job complete. Okay, so that just makes it very easy to manage a job through the process line. So let's just jump back to the jobs window and you'll see now that testing parachute job status has been updated to show planned. The due dates are tomorrow, so they're currently blue. If I edit that and set the date to last week, for example, you'll see that the next action due date has gone red. And that'll be reflected there. If we go to Kanban, again, that'll status be reflected there. So it's consistent throughout the system in terms of signals around where the job is in process and whether or not it's overdue, due today, or not due yet. So if we set that due for today, you can see it's turned green. And again, that icon reflects the fact that it's due today. Similarly in here. So there's visual indicators throughout the system that tell you what step in the process the job is and whether it's on time. Okay, so that's about covers jobs. In the next video, I'll cover planning jobs, and then subsequent videos will cover the detail around creating quotes and invoices and so on. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.